things set up and started here. We are now broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, all across the internets. We are here live for another live tarot readings with Wolf. Give me 2 seconds here. As per routine at the start of this broadcast, just takes me another extra moment to be able to get things officially set up for the broadcast, to be able to invite more people to tune in. And oh, let's see. Let's find out if it worked properly. Hold on. Let's find out whether or not everything went through properly this time. And once we have that confirmed, we will officially get right into the broadcast. For those of you tuning in on any platform, thank you and welcome. And allow yourself to just get nice and comfortable as we get things officially set up and ready to go. All right, looks like we're broadcasting on Twitch, but looks like the Facebook and the YouTube data is just a little bit delayed right now. So until I have that fully confirmed, I just want to wait one extra second. But aloha to those of you. It looks like we're broadcasting okay on YouTube. For those of you on YouTube, drop an 1111 in the comments. Let me know that you can hear me okay. And once we've got the Facebook good to go, then we will officially begin the broadcast. But it looks like there might be a little bit of a glitch with the Facebook. So let's hang tight here and make sure that we got everything working properly. I appreciate everyone's patience. Aloha, welcome. Thank you so much to those of you joining in on the YouTubes. And give me 2 seconds here. I may need to restart the broadcast. We'll see. This doesn't always happen where it glitches out on Facebook, but hey, it's our first time back, and this is about being able to build up resilience and get back into the swing. For those of you who've been here before, you know that we've done these live tarot reading broadcasts plenty of times before. We haven't done them in like close to a month, so I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be able to be here once again. And as I said, if we can confirm that things are working on Facebook, then I will be able to officially begin the readings as we get into it. So hang tight, everyone. I gotta do some troubleshooting here to figure out why it's not working on Facebook. So let's click a button and then click another button. All right, I am going to hang tight for those of you on YouTube. I have to try something. I have to flick a switch. I have to flick it off and then flick it back on again. So if I drop from the YouTube feed, I don't think it cancels the stream, but you may lose me for a brief moment. So hang tight. Let's see if this works. Thanks for your patience. Okay. Stream is back on track. It should be coming through on the YouTubes, and let's see if we fix the problem on Facebook. And interesting. I'm not sure why it's not working on Facebook right now. All right, well, this gives me a chance to do some troubleshooting, so I apologize to everybody who's hanging tight right now. As per protocol, I want to be able to make sure that we got everything else set up. So until that's fully resolved, I'm just going to hold off. But please feel free to stick around, because normally it does work on Facebook. So as to why it's not working, I'm not exactly sure. But let's see if I can figure that out. Okie dokie. Okay. Yeah, weird. I'm not exactly sure why it's not working on Facebook. And the reason why I just want to be able to make sure that it's working on Facebook is because that is also where we get like a decent amount of people are able to join in through Facebook. So to be fair to them, I want to be able to make sure that we get things all set up. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, welcome to the behind the scenes. This is sometimes part of the show where we have to be able to do some troubleshooting live on air. Consider this just a little bit of a test right now. Thanks. Yeah. May the force be with us as we try and get the Facebook working. All right. Let's see. Why isn't the Facebook working? All right. I may have to kind of pause the stream again until I can figure out how to fully get the Facebook working. I've got at least like, I don't have to leave for hockey for about 2 hours from now. So I apologize to those of you waiting, but once we figure this out, it'll all be worth it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't seem to. I'm gonna message the tech support. Let's see. How's everyone doing tonight? Where is everyone tuned in from? Thank you again so much for those of you joining in. For those of you tuning in, again, on Instagram, I should almost like, honestly, I should just like stop the broadcast on Instagram until I get it working. Actually, I should probably do that. For those of you tuning on Instagram, if you want to click my link on YouTube, on my bio, it'll take you to the YouTube. But right now, I'm actually just having to do something a little bit less exciting than tarot reading, which is troubleshooting some technical stuff, because for some reason it's not broadcasting on Facebook. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to pause the broadcast on Instagram just because I don't want to waste your guys' time. I'll bring up the broadcast again on Instagram once it's working. So thanks for your understanding. Thanks for your patience, and hang tight. And if you want to jump over to YouTube, there's people in the chat there. So stand by. We'll figure this out. Thanks for joining in. All right. Appreciate the understanding. Okay. All right. So we're just closing off the Instagram broadcast right now. All right. Let's see. What do I need to do to be able to fix the Facebook? It could be, honestly, it could be a thing where like the feed itself may be down. So we're gonna troubleshoot a couple more things. Let's find out. All right, I'm gonna. I'm not exactly sure what else I need to do right now. For those of you just tuning in on YouTube, I'm just trying to troubleshoot as to why it's not working on Facebook. And getting it to work on Facebook is definitely an important element, because that's like a huge way for like a bunch more people to be tuned in. So please feel free to keep each other company in the chat. I'm going to click a few more buttons, and we're going to try flicking a couple more switches. So if you see me pop on, off, and on, that's just me doing some behind the scenes work. So stand by. I'm going to try hit a few more switches. Thanks everyone for your patience. All right. We may be live on Facebook now. Stand by, everyone. We're just running some more tests here to be able to confirm that broadcasts are operating properly, but I think I actually have to do a little bit more tech support behind the scenes. So okie dokie. Strange. All right, stand by, everyone. If you guys can hear me, go ahead, just stand by. I think I have to, like, I'm not gonna explain how I have to fix it, but I think I know what I need to do. So I'm just gonna do it, and once we're ready, we'll be ready. And if I can get it fixed in the next 5 minutes, and we still got like 2 hours to do some tarot readings. So, but yes, it looks like it's just like my server's not communicating with the Facebook server for some reason, so I have to like re-authenticate something. So all right, please feel free to just keep each other company in the chat. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm I'm literally talking to tech support right now. So okie dokie. Once we get it like flying, like we'll be doing, my plan is to be doing like a bunch of broadcasts over this next month. So looks like it's broadcasting on Twitch. Okay, I'm just gonna double check. For those of you tuning in, consider this just, again, kind of like a collective community hangout at the same time. So All right, stand by. I'm gonna follow some instructions from the tech support guy. So, if you guys can hear me, just drop an 1111 in the chat. But I'm about to shut off the feed, and it'll come back once I got things all set up. So, thanks again, everyone, for your patience. All right, we are broadcasting live, and it looks like it should be working this time. All right, wonderful. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and I'm going to set things up again on Instagram so that we can officially get things rolling here. Thank you again for those of you tuning into this live in the moment. For those of you listening to this in the future, my name is Brendan, and we're about to get into some more live tarot readings with Wolf. And if you've been here before, you've seen what we do here, where we do some really cool like team building through tarot reading. We connect other awesome conscious creators together, and yeah, we provide a lot of value here as a community. So give me a few seconds here as I have to set things up on a couple different channels before we officially get started. So I'm going to do that as I originally had planned. For those of you tuning in, we originally like had to stop and start the broadcast because I had to fix things from behind the scenes, but we did it. We got it fixed, and now we got a couple hours to dive into doing some tarot readings as a team. So stand by. I'm just about to start a broadcast on Instagram at the same time, and then I'm going to take another moment here to reshare this broadcast on Facebook, and we will invite some more people to tune in, and we will officially get ready to go. So welcome those of you tuning in on Instagram in the future. We are about to get into our live tarot reading with Wolf broadcast for the next couple hours at least before I have to head out to hockey. And if you are watching this on Instagram, you can go ahead and click the link currently in my bio to be able to join in on YouTube. So if you're tuning in on the Instagram, click the link in my bio and you can jump right over to YouTube. For those of you on YouTube, drop another 1111 in the chat just to confirm that you can hear me okay, and we will officially get things rolling here on multiple networks. So welcome everyone. Give me 2 extra moments here. If you're tuning into this on Facebook, we'll get right into the first reading as soon as we are ready. And the basic instructions that we have is that we do one initial reading out of the chat. We take someone out of the chat, and to be eligible for that reading, all you have to do is share this broadcast and stand by for some initial instructions. And give me 2 extra moments here as we just share this broadcast to a couple more people, as in a couple more groups and a couple more pages. So thank you everyone. We're just gonna get more people synced up. Once I share this to a couple extra groups, we'll probably have like a whole nother wave of people tuned in, which is awesome. And once we have that wave of people here, then we will officially get going into our first reading. And I'll give you some more information and some more of an introduction. And yeah, if this is your first time here, drop a 222 in the chat. Let me know that you are here. And yeah, we've been doing these broadcasts for quite some time, and it's always a pleasure to be able to have more people tuned in. And hey, don't forget, this is all just practice, as in this is practice for me too. We've done these broadcasts multiple times, although in November we didn't do as many of them. I was working on some other stuff within the project, and now we're getting back into the swing of them. And this December, the plan is to do a bunch of them, and I'll explain a little bit more about what to be able to expect from these readings. I am just sharing this to a couple extra groups, and I am going to start a parallel watch party in the 1111 movement group. So let me just see if I can do this. 2 seconds here, everyone. Once we got it, good to go. Let's see. Is this gonna work? Hold on. I just need to make sure that the watch party is properly set up, and then I can do that. All right. Huh. Interesting. Can I create a watch party in the group? Huh. I'm not exactly sure if I can or not. Stand by, everyone. All right. Weird. I don't see an option to be able to start a watch party. Huh. Weird. Hang tight, everyone. I just want to be able to make sure that I'm not over skipping any option here. Normally there's the option to be able to create a watch party in different groups. However, I am not seeing the option to be able to do that. Thanks again, everyone, for joining in. And yeah, for hanging out here. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and click my Instagram bio link to be able to join in on YouTube as we get things rolling here. And weird. That's weird. Like normally there's like the option to, I don't know, I think Facebook changed something. Oh wait, hold on. Can I, how can I do that? Okay, 1 second. Hang tight, Instagram. I need to check something with my phone. So that means I had to close one of the Instagram things. Thanks everyone for your patience, for hanging out. Again, use this as an opportunity just to be able to hang out and connect with other people as well. So Weird. I don't see. Does anybody else see on Facebook? Do they see the option for sharing as a watch party? So I'm not seeing that at all right now. Huh. Interesting. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm just gonna send a quick message. Hang tight, everyone. Alright, if we don't have that option, that's okay. Because consider this like a practice round. And honestly, like for me, having not done it in a month, this is also just kind of like getting back into the flow of things. Yeah, weird. I really want, sorry team, I really want to be able to get to the bottom of this mystery as to why it isn't giving me the option to share as a watch party. If anybody here is in the 1111 movement group, let me know. And I'm asking you to be able to share it as a watch party into the 1111 movement group. And the reason for that is because, like, honestly, like, I'm one of the admins for that group, and when we do that, it gives a chance for a good amount of other people to be able to tune in. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. I just posted the link for the 1111 movement group. For those of you just joining in, I'm just doing a little bit of troubleshooting. I'm trying to figure out exactly why the option for sharing this as a watch party is not showing up for me. And I'm not exactly sure why. So, but this is just a bit of a test routine. If you are around for this one, be sure to stick around. I'll be doing a lot more broadcasts and ones with less technical navigating and stuff like that. Okay, let's figure out. Let's see here. Share to group. Share group. Huh, strange. If someone's able to share this as a watch party, go ahead and let me know. Other people are saying they don't see it either, so I'm not exactly sure why. Interesting. All right, I'm just going to spend one more minute trying to get to the bottom of this mystery, and then we'll get right into our first reading. So, but nonetheless, I appreciate everybody being here, and yeah, just using this as a chance to be able to hang out. And yeah, that's weird. I definitely don't see the option to be able to share as a watch party. Maybe it will be there tomorrow. So, April, you just shared it to the 1111 group. Did you share it as a watch party? If you did, thank you. Either way, thank you. And I'm not seeing it there. Yeah, because like honestly, like when it's shared as a watch party, it just creates a chance for a good amount of people to be able to get notified for it. So, weird. I'm actually just like I was thinking the only one with the watch party option. So please try again. Huh. I'm wondering, like, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if it's worth restarting the broadcast. I don't want to do that. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We're just doing a little bit of technical difficulties. Consider this honestly just a test run. This is like the first broadcast that we've done of tarot reading in a month, and I'm just trying to figure out why a technical thing isn't doing the thing that it's supposed to do. And I just want to be able to see if I can get to the bottom of this real quick. Tell the news when you click make post. Let's see. There might be another way. Hold on. There might be another way. Kind of doing like a back end. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? 1 second. This might work. Alright. Apologies for those of you who obviously showed up waiting for tarot readings, and then I had to get into some technical stuff. Sweet. I think I found a way to do it. Okay, hang tight. If this works, then we're getting right into the readings. So, I'm about to click a button. Alright, let's see if this works. This work? Okay, we're about to find out if this works. If it works, then that's awesome. Did this work? Okay, I think this is gonna work. I don't know why I had to do it this way, but I think this is gonna work. Alright, stand by. I'm clicking the button now. And here we go. Alright. Aloha, welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I think it worked. We are now broadcasting on all the places that we intended to broadcast. We're broadcasting on Twitch. We are broadcasting on Facebook. We are broadcasting on Instagram. And we are broadcasting in multiple groups. We are broadcasting in the 1111 Facebook group. So for those of you joining in on the 1111 Facebook group, thank you so much. For those of you who are watching on any platform, welcome. If it's your first time here, drop a 222 in the comments. And we are just about to get started here for our first tarot reading. So the way how we do this, first of all, if you would like to be able to possibly get chosen from the chat, what we do is we invite people to follow these basic instructions. So the first instruction is share this broadcast. If you haven't already yet, please feel free to share this broadcast so that you can invite more people to tune in and be a part of the inspiration. And then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a specific number, and then what you're going to do, you're going to type into the chat that number based on, sorry, I'm not explaining that properly. So Like I said, it's my first time back doing this broadcast. I took a break for about a month because I was focusing on some other stuff. But hey, we're back and we got things worked out technically, and I'm happy to be here. So thank you everyone for being here. And let me just toggle a thing here so that I can see all the chats at once. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna take one breath because that's always fun. All right. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Brendan, aka Wolf, Wolf Shield, Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon. We're doing live tarot readings here with Wolf. Our intention for these broadcasts is to be able to provide awesome value for the community and for us to be able to grow as a team, to be able to bring together people who are passionate about helping assist with the shift in consciousness. And what we are doing through these readings, first of all, with these readings, I don't do these readings particularly as like psychic readings or fortune telling readings. The style that we use during these readings is more so to be able to set the intention of show us what we need to see. And then we use the cards as a conduit to be able to receive a message from the universe to be able to help assist us. And so we're going to choose a person from the chat. And the way how we do this is quite simple. So if you would like to be eligible for the first reading from the chat, step 1 is to share this broadcast. Share this broadcast so that you can invite other people to tune in. And then step 2, I am going to give you a number. And then what we're going to do, we've got quite a few chats happening here. We're going to tell you the number, and then the 7th person to enter this number into the chat across multiple chats will be the first person who we choose to do a reading for. And again, when we do these readings, it's really with the intention of allowing the reading to be for the individual, but also for the collective. So if you are here, then there is a message for you. There is a reading here for you. And then from there, we will move into the next reading by being able to invite people to support on Patreon. And Patreon is an awesome platform where people can support artists. So part of the objective with these broadcasts is to provide awesome value, build the awesome team, and invite people to support on Patreon, which allows us to continue to do more within the Paradigm Shift Central project. And I'll explain a little bit about that as we go. But for this moment here, if you would like to be eligible for a reading in the chat, just drop a 333 in the chat. I just want to get an idea of how many people are interested in being able to get a reading on air for this broadcast. So drop a 333 in the chat, and that way so I can just kind of see how many people we got. And then I'm going to give you the number, and then the 7th person to enter that number into the chat will be the first person who we do the reading for. But again, remember, even if you aren't chosen for that first reading, there's still a message here for you. And we really do this as like a collective team reading. So it's really, really cool. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and click my Instagram link in my bio to be able to jump over to YouTube. So if you're watching those on Instagram, jump over to YouTube and you can join the live chat there. For those of you on YouTube, if you haven't already yet, please like this video. And again, please feel free to share it. All right, so we got quite a few people who are ready for this first reading, so let's get right into this. I appreciate everybody for your patience. So again, the first reading, we're choosing someone out of the chat. The second reading will be for the person who signs up for the Patreon, and our objective for this broadcast between now and I got 2 hours until I have to head out for hockey, is to be able to get at least 3 Patreon signups during this broadcast, and I'll explain a little bit more to you as we go through this. So let's get right into this first reading. Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Brendan. It's an honor to have you here, aka Wolf. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's tap into the inspiration of the universe. All right, here's the number for you. There's quite a few people tuned in right now, so we're gonna try and make it as fair as possible. I'm gonna give you a number, and you're gonna type it into the chat. Don't enter this number right away. Take a second to breathe, listen to your intuition, and you want to be the 7th person to enter in this number, and don't enter in this number more than once. So those are the basic rules. And if you haven't already yet, please feel free to share this broadcast to invite more people to tune in. And yeah, we'll get into more details as we go. All right, here's the number for those of you who are ready. The number I am giving you is the number 999. So the number 999, I want you to take a moment here, and the 7th person to enter this into the chat will be the first person that we do this reading for. And then from there, we'll move into some more readings as well. So we're keeping an eye on as many chats as we can. We are broadcasting on my personal Facebook, the 1111 Movement Group. A bonus shout out to everybody tuning in there and tuned in on broadcasting on YouTube as well. All right, so here come in the numbers. I'm going to start keeping an eye on everything. All right, so the first reading that we have for today, and you guys can stop sharing the numbers at this moment right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is actually the first reading that we have is for Allison. So Allison, thank you so much for joining us. And Allison, who's already one of our Patreon supporters. Allison, if you want, Allison, I'm going to give you the option. If you wish, you can claim this reading for yourself. Or if you would like to be able to forward it to somebody else in the YouTube chat, that is totally cool. Whatever works for you. And again, for everybody here, even if you weren't chosen for this first reading, stick around, because this is a message like for the collective that we are bringing forward. And we got a lot of people tuned in right now, so I appreciate everybody for your engagement. When you get a chance, if you would like to be able to connect with me further, I highly encourage everybody here to check out more about what we are doing through our new team, our Paradigm Shift Central team Instagram page. So, all right, so Allison, thank you again for joining in. And for those of you tuning in on Instagram, on Facebook, if you would like to be able to jump the line for the next reading, you can do that by supporting on Patreon. And when you support on Patreon, that's a monthly micro donation to be able to help support the work that I do for the community. If it's your first time meeting me, absolutely please feel free to check out the Patreon and dive a little bit deeper into it. And our objective is to be able, by the end of the month, my job is to be able to get our Patreon goal to 200 before 2020. So that's the objective here. Provide awesome value, build the team, and get the Patreon to 200 before 2020. All right, so let's get right into this. Okay, Allison, if you would like to be able to get this reading for you, just confirm with me in the chats. If you would like to pass it forward, you're more than welcome to. But like honestly, like if you're feeling like it's good for you. Okay, good. That's totally cool, Allison. All right, take this reading. This reading is for you then. All right, so for those of you who are here, stick around, add your intention into this, and just become familiar with what we're doing here. But again, if you're here, I'll be doing a lot more of these broadcasts. And again, my intention here is not just about the tarot reading, it's about being able to build the team. So please feel free to connect with my profile, and shout out to all of you on the 1111 movement page. You're amazing, and I'm so honored to be able to be one of the admins for such an awesome page. So, all right. Okay. Allison, allow yourself to get ready for this reading. And for those of you who are here for the first time, just allow yourself to kind of observe the style that we work with here. And thank you again. And we'll keep an eye open for the first Patreon sign up. So we'll take like a little bit of an intermission after this reading, and we'll walk through that process as we go through it together. All right. So Allison, for everybody here, I invite everybody here to connect with your heart, to connect with your breath, and allow yourself to drop into that intention of gratitude, of love, of community, of just feeling the connection of being surrounded by amazing people, getting ready to move into 2020. December is such a powerful month. What do we need to hear? So Allison, I invite you to hold the intention in your heart of show me what I need to see. And Allison, take a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, Allison, type now into the chat, and we will synchronistically pull the card for you. And so here we are once again, my friends, playing in the rhyme that never ends, as we can bring ourselves into this space, so we can allow ourselves to feel the love of this pace in which we slow down, in which we connect with our breath, in which we listen to what the universe has. And Allison says now, as we split the deck, and we shall pull the first card and see what message the universe has. All right, so I'm going to charge this up with the Light Guardian Crystal. All right, so the first card that we have pulled here tonight for Allison, but again, not just for Allison, it's for anyone. If you're listening to this, then this message is for you. First card that we have pulled tonight is the Queen of Flames. So give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to open up the book. And again, the way how we do this is the Ananda Tarot deck that we are using. So what I'm going to do, wow, I flipped right open to the page. I didn't even have to look for it. That worked perfectly. I'm going to read from you what's in the book, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper to be able to decipher and elaborate on some of the message that is being shared here through the Queen of Flames. So as we're doing this, if you would like to be able to jump the line and have the next reading on air for you, go ahead and check out the Patreon, and you can sign up there with the monthly micro contribution. I'll explain a little bit more about that as I go, because I just want to be able to get right into that reading. But one of the cool things is that when you sign up to the Patreon, you can also get a super beautiful Light Guardian crystal as an additional pay what you wish contribution. And that's just like one of the many things that we give to support you on your journey. So for those of you tuning in on Instagram, if you haven't already yet, click the link in my bio to be able to tune in on YouTube. And let's get right into this first reading for Allison. So, all right. So looking at this card and just explaining it visually, what do we got here? So for those of you tuning in on Instagram, this is why you want to tune into YouTube, because I can't show the card to everyone all. It's different cameras, so thanks for understanding. All right. So with this image here, we have this beautiful image of this female figure in a gown, in a robe, with her arms pointed up towards a celestial light, with these rays, these beams shining back in her direction. And she's got these beautiful, the colors are almost like a bit of a blue, a bit of a gray, and a little bit of foliage behind her as well. And her eyes are closed, basically like kind of like in a meditation, almost as if she's like sun gazing with the light that's off to the side. And so I can already tell that, again, not just for Allison, but for anybody, that this is an important card to be able to get. This is a very powerful message to be able to come forth through this card. And Allison, who is someone who I know locally, it's her birthday coming up, so everyone go ahead, feel free to give an early happy birthday to Allison, but she's also a Sag, so the Queen of Flames seems incredibly relevant for her to be able to get. So let's see what message the cards have, and again, if you are here, this message is for you, so open your heart to be able to hear what message the universe has for us. So again, that intention of show me what I need to see. So the card is Queen of Flames. Queen of Flames, the image. A graceful female being in a standing position lovingly reaches towards the glowing center of a shining light. Meaning, in the Queen of Flames, a female aspect of the fire element is presented. Through the connection of the fire and water elements, humans are capable of deep emotions. The passionate components of the fire element and the depth of feeling of the water element bring forth an empathetic yet dominant being. The Queen of Flames indicates yielding to life-advancing powers and developing courage and self-confidence, thereby preserving a gentle nature. I'm going to reread that part. The Queen of Flames indicates yielding to life-advancing powers and developing courage and self-confidence, thereby preserving a gentle nature. In spite of deep sensitivity, inner strength is an expression of zest for life and joy. Openness for new things and the courage for change characterize a nature that is constantly in motion. I'm going to reread that. Openness for new things and the courage for change characterize a nature that is constantly in motion. Being adventuresome, which is more fickle than permanent, characterizes a temperament that is subject to constant change without losing its peaceful nature. While the powers of fire rise above, the movement of water goes in the opposite direction. From there, apparently opposite principles, however, willpower and sensitivity blend into a deeper spiritual gift that spreads far beyond the waves of passionate feelings. The Queen of Flames brings the ability to create one's own destiny creatively. Astrological significance. Sun, Moon, Sagittarius, water and fire elements. Keywords: sincerity, life force, self-confidence, joy, passion, self-respect, openness, self-determination. Traditional meaning: fiery temperament, zest for life, love of freedom, enthusiasm, dominance, adventuresome. So like I said, this is a really beautiful card to get, and I've always really resonated with any of like the Princess of Flames and the Queen of Flames, because again, I feel like this is such a powerful message, especially for a lot of us who are bringing forth the strength of this female archetype, the strength of the feminine archetype into this age, into this modern day society in a way that's serving, in a way that's inspiring others. And so with this card, Allison, I think a big part of this is really just acknowledging that as we get ready to like move into 2020, like now is the time to like really like own our confidence, to kind of like feel that next stage of our journey unfolding as we really get confident and reassured in our ability. We develop resilience in our ability to hold our flame so that others can see it, and we don't have to worry about others telling us that we should shine it any less. This card, again, the key words in this: self-confidence, joy, passion, really reminding us about the importance of being able to follow our heart, and not even just following our heart, but the importance of being able to listen to our heart, the importance of being able to listen to where our heart is guiding us, to where the fire is leading us towards. And so again, the Queen of Flames indicates yielding to life-advancing powers and developing courage and self-confidence, thereby preserving a gentle nature. So an important part with this card is that it's really about like being able to hold the flame, but to hold it wisely and to hold it softly and to be able to balance it with the emotional elements of the water. So whereas like the Princess of Flames is really just kind of like, yo, let's get out there and like dance on the street corners and just like party and create and artistically just like drive. The Queen of Flames is a little bit more reserved. The Queen of Flames has the ability to be able to be like, yes, like I am a fiery badass bitch, but I don't always have to exude that all the time in order for me to be that. Sometimes the fire serves its purpose well when others don't see it, when others aren't scared by it. Because sometimes when we really let our fire loose, it can push other people away. It can have almost like an opposite effect of what we intended. Some people might be like, yo, that person's like really like almost too intense. Like they're almost too intense for me, and I'm not sure if I can really like meet them on that level. Whereas like with the Queen of Flames, by being able to balance in the water element, it's really about being able to like activate the fire in a moment's notice, with will, with control, with intention, and to use that water element to be able to make sure that you're aware of other people's needs, that you're aware of other people's feelings, that you're aware of the presence that you are setting within a room. You don't necessarily want to be, like, I feel like whereas the Princess of Flames is kind of like the center of the spotlight, the Queen of Flames is almost like the one who softly ignites the flame in others. They have like a very strong flame, but it's one that's like experienced. It's one that's got a lot of wisdom underneath its belt, so to speak. And it doesn't need to have the center of attention. It literally could. Like, people could walk into a room and be like, yo, like that's a queen right there. Like that, like that is a queen. Like that is someone that is just like striking up the room. But having played that role before, now it is kind of about being able to allow others to shine their light, to give others the center stage, to give others the permission to step into the spotlight, while being able to balance our presence with the water by being able to, again, the passionate components of the fire element and the depth of feeling of the water element bring forth an empathetic yet dominant being. So again, I see like the Queen of Flames as being kind of like this master behind the scenes, like the one who's like pulling some big moves, making some big adjustments, helping orchestrate things in some big ways, but doesn't always need the recognition. It doesn't need anybody else to tell them how much of a queen they are. Instead, it allows themselves to just be like very humble, very reserved in how they show their light, in how they hold their flame, as to not come off as too strong, as to not come off as too much for other people. And so again, in spite of deep sensitivity, inner strength is an expression of zest for life, openness for new things, and the courage for change characterize a nature that is constantly in motion. Being adventuresome, which is more fickle than permanent, characterizes a temperament that is subject to constant change without losing its peaceful nature. So again, with this, Allison, I feel like, knowing you a bit, I feel like that the Queen of Flames is like a natural step in your evolution, where you're really like moving into like just this very like centered balance character. And again, I say this not just to Allison, I say this to everyone, because this card is inviting us. This card, again, when I do these readings, I'm not trying to say like, hey, this is a fortune telling, this is me predicting the future, but no, this is simply a message that we need to hear. And sometimes the message is acknowledging where we're at, is holding us up as a mirror so that we can see more of ourselves, so that we can see the archetype that we're shifting into. So with this card, I think this is a great card for you, Allison, and for everyone to just really be able to honor that adventuresome spirit in yourself, to be able to honor the idea that you love to be able to explore new things, that you love to be able to go in places you've never been before, that you love to be able to inspire others, but to do it in a way whereas normally fire can be like so spontaneous, where it's like, it's my sound effect for fire there. But now it's like almost as if you're like fire. But what happens, like, this is kind of what I visualize it. Imagine fire filmed in slow-mo. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen what that looks like? To our naked eye, fire's like fast, 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 and it looks like do, and that's what fire can look like. But if you slow down fire, you actually realize that fire is very watery, that fire has this very fluid movement. So for you, Allison, and for anybody here, I encourage you to kind of like see what happens when you kind of like bring in not just a slowness, but like another layer of mindfulness into your steps, instead of like just being like, hey, this is what I want to do and I'm gonna do it right away. Instead, just be like, I feel myself being called into this and I'm gonna take that next step, but I'm gonna do it at my own pace. Maybe I'm gonna do it a little bit slower than normal, but I'm still gonna be as fiery as ever. And I'm not in a rush. I'm not here to impress anyone. I don't need anybody's like, I don't need anyone to tell me who I am and who I am not, because I've already gotten to the point where I can feel it. I know who I am. I know I'm a queen. I know I'm a queen. And because I'm a queen, that allows me to move forward with just like much more grace, much more fluidity. And that doesn't just serve you, that serves others. That serves others, because that's a powerful archetype for a leader. That, I'll just say this and I'll wrap up this reading. By you practicing slowing things down and just being like very soft, it gives others the chance to follow. Whereas sometimes it's hard to follow a fire that's so fiery that you can't even keep up with it. But instead, if you kind of slow down, it gives others the chance to be able to gather around your flame and then to be able to feed off of it. Not feed off of it in like a parasitic way, but to be able to like be nurtured by it, to be able to like slowly go with you on a walk, and then out of this your flame continues to ignite other flames. So it's almost as if like you're kind of like shifting from, again, kind of like the young princess into the mature queen who's helping raise other princesses, who's helping that next generation. It's kind of like you're like kind of like shifting into like another level of like a Jedi, from like kind of like Padawan apprentice to like more like a bit of a master, and more of like a creator, and more of, again, like for someone who's like an organizer in community. I can really see this being like an important part of your journey as you just continue to become the leader that you are. the leader that you are here to be. And what does the community need? What does the community need as a leader? Do they need a leader that's like, hey, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here, and then people are just like, where is she? Like, I can't keep up with this. Or do they need someone who's just kind of like, she's there and she's here, and if I need to talk to her, I know I can do that, and I know she'll be present with me. So Queen of Flames, again, key words: sincerity, life force, self-confidence, joy, passion, self-respect. Self-respect, I think, is a key thing. So giving yourself permission. The universe will go at the speed that you go. Do not feel as if you have to rush into things. Openness and self-determination. Know that slow is steady and steady is fast. And when you kind of take that extra mindfulness into your exercise, that will allow you to like get places even more effectively. Whereas like the old kind of super fiery might have kind of gotten like sidetracked. Now you can like use that slowness to keep your focus and to get clear on what you are determined to create. Traditional meaning: fiery temperament, zest for life, love of freedom, enthusiasm, dominance, adventurousness. So again, Allison, just wrapping up this, I think this is a very beautiful card. And again, for anybody, allowing us to be reminded of the power of what we can do when we kind of like balance the fire and the water at the same time, to be able to continue to show up as leaders. So Allison, thank you for being the first reading for us to do tonight for the team. Super appreciate it. So Allison, if this reading resonates with you, go ahead and drop an 1111 in the chat, and go ahead and share any reason as to why it resonates with you in the comments. And for anybody here, if this card resonates with you too, if there was a message that came through where you're just like, oh, like, yeah, I needed to hear that too, drop an 1111 in the chat too. And yeah, please feel free to leave any comments, and we'll read a couple of the comments on screen. So there you go, Queen of Flames. And if anybody wants a picture of that in the book, please feel free to send me a direct message either on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, any of those platforms. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and click my bio link to be able to tune in on YouTube. Forgot to post that on one of the Instagram feeds. Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining in. Like I said, for those of you who have seen me do this before, I'm still just kind of like in my warm-up stage. This is like my first time back on the ice. It's been a month, but that's because I've been so busy rocking it and making some big moves for other parts of the Paradigm Shift Central project. So what we're going to do right now, we're just going to take a quick little intermission, and yeah, I would love to be able to do the next reading for the first person to sign up for the Patreon tonight to help us move a step closer towards our goal of 200 by 2020. And it looks like we already got that person, so thank you so much. We have our first Patreon supporter tonight is Jen Richards. So Jen, if you are in one of the chats, please drop your comment down below, and I will be able to get right into that next reading for you. And we're going to update some of the graphics on screen, and that's always my favorite thing to do. So thank you, Jen, for adding your support. And again, for everyone, just for being here. Awesome. And again, if you would like to be able to jump in for the next reading, then go ahead and sign up for the Patreon as well. And a reminder, when you sign up for the Patreon at the $11 level, you can also get one of the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals for an additional pay what you wish contribution. And these are super beautiful handmade items that I make within the project. I'm going to show you one of the big ones. This one's kind of, I think this one I'm keeping for myself, and I'm not trying to be greedy, but this one I just really resonate with. This one's freaking huge. Not all the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals are this big, but if you're just like, yo, Brendan, I want one of them big ones, let me know. And if you sign up at the $11 level, I can get you one that does come in quite like a decent size. So, all right. So Jen, if you are here in the chat, please feel free to let me know. And again, for those of you who may not be entirely familiar with what I do, my name is Brendan. I'm a full-time conscious media creator, director for ParadigmShiftCentral.com, and an award-winning Canadian filmmaker. I've been creating conscious media for 10 years. I've been doing live broadcasts and building a team of shifters, people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift in consciousness. Allison, just going back to your comments, it says, beautiful reading. I love you, and you reading this specifically feels very appropriate for the direction I'm being pulled. Blessed night, everyone, and thank you for sharing in that reading with me. Awesome, Allison, super honored to be able to hear that. And yes, I am fully behind you in everything that you do for the community, Allison. So thank you for showing up as a leader as well. Awesome. All right. Okay, so with that said, I'm just looking to see if Jen is in the chat. So Jen Richards, let me know where you are in the chat, and I am going to just update the on-screen info here. Okay, so I'm just gonna update the on-screen information here. So again, I have to leave by about bit after 10. I have hockey tonight, so that's what I'm up to tonight. So, all right, give me 2 seconds here. I am just updating the on-screen information because that's always the fun part. And again, I'm gonna be doing live broadcasts tomorrow. I'm going to be doing live broadcasts the day after that. We're going to be getting as many broadcasts as we can because, again, my job this month is to reach 200 supporters on Patreon. And again, the support on that, you supporting on that doesn't just support me, it supports the entire team and what we are doing to be able to help assist other conscious media creators and shifters. And I encourage everyone, if you haven't already yet, please connect to the new Paradigm Shift Central Team Instagram page. If you're looking, because again, what I'm doing during these broadcasts, I'm also looking to like find other people who want to sync up with the team. There are going to be people who are going to jump in. They'll stay for the readings, but then there are going to be other people who are going to be like, yo, I want to connect further. And if you want to connect further, if you want to like go deeper, then simply start just by connecting to our team Instagram page. And that's at Paradigm Shift Central on Instagram, but you can check out more of the links in this video, including the main website, and also connect to our team chat. All right, I'm trying to figure out if Jen is in the chat. But thank you again, everyone. I'm going to do some quick shout outs. Thank you to Javier. Thank you to Inner Flame. Thank you to Allison. Thank you to Kaylee, one of our Patreon supporters as well. We got a few of our Patreon supporters in here. Thank you to So Wolf and Taylor. Taylor, another one of our Patreon supporters. And Natalia as well. And for those of you tuning in on the 1111 group, Tamar, Areen, Magi, Danielle, Mark, and Brian, and all sorts of other people. All right, so let's see if Jen is here. So, all right. I'm just going to check one more time. If Jen isn't here, that's okay, because what I'll do is I'll send her a private message, and there is always the option to do a reading with a person privately. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, if you click my Instagram bio link, that will tune you into the YouTube, which I encourage you to do if you're sticking around, because that way you get like the proper camera angle. And thank you again, everyone, for joining in and for just swinging by. Happy to see you here. Yo, Cosmic Surfer, welcome, welcome. All right, so Kaylee, originally I did have the plan where I'm gonna do like 31 days of live tarot broadcasts. I may theoretically do that. I may theoretically do a live broadcast every day. Again, because my job is to get the Patreon up to 200, which is crazy. That's like a big objective, but we can do it. Okay, I don't see Jen in the chat, so what we're gonna do, let's check in. If somebody else, so again, so just answering, Mark just left a question in the comment. So if Jen's here, leave a comment. I don't think Jen's here, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna move on. And what I'll do is I'll just answer Mark's comment. So again, so the way how this works, for to be able to jump the line for a private reading or a reading on air, all you have to do is sign up on my Patreon, which is a monthly micro contribution to be able to help support the work that I do for the community and the bigger Paradigm Shift Central community. And you can check that out at patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. It only takes about 3 minutes to sign up. And if you sign up at any level, you can get a Light Guardian Crystal for an additional pay what you wish contribution, basically pay for shipping and you can get it. And if you sign up at the higher levels, such as the $11 level or more, you can get a Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal. So if you're seeing the Light Guardian Crystals and you're just like, yo, those are super dope, I would love to be able to add one of those to my quest inventory, then signing up for the Patreon is a great way to be able to get one, but they are also available. They are also available through the questitemshop.com. All right. Okay, so if anybody here is interested in signing up for the Patreon, let me know, because what we can do, we can just wait an extra moment to be able to jump into that next reading. And yeah, and it doesn't look like Jen's in the chat at the moment, which is okay. That's okay. So Mark, if you were interested in reading, let me know in the chat and we can just kind of like hang out for an extra second here. And again, I'll just post a link for the Patreon in there. And again, so when we do these broadcasts, this is about being able to provide awesome value for the community, to be able to help build the team, and to be able to help boost the Patreon so that we can increase our global impact and do more awesome things together. All right. Okie dokie. All right. So, like I said, let's just hang tight just for another minute. And if Jen is here, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, what I can do is I can... okay, Mark is in the process of trying to figure out how to sign up. So, Mark, when you go to the Patreon page, select a tier. I posted a link just into the chat, Mark. You can see the link on screen. So Mark, even if you're on your desktop or your phone, if you type that in, the link in the corner here, the link in that corner, I always forget which way I'm pointing. In that link right there, that's the link. So if you go to that link, you can figure it out and you can sign up there. So we'll just wait 2 extra moments here. In the meantime, where is everybody tuned in from? So please feel free to let me know. And again, I appreciate everybody hanging out. And again, this is practice for me too. Doing these broadcasts, it's something that I'm working on mastering. It's something that I want to be able to get like good at, you know? And I'm already like experienced with it. And like I said, we've done a bunch of these, but the last month, I was working on some other things for the team, and now we're back, which is awesome. And now we're going to be doing a lot more of them. So my job is to get good at these broadcasts and to be able to help invite people to the team. So if you're looking to just be able to connect with the team, and if you haven't already yet, be sure to connect to the Instagram, because the Instagram, we're working on getting that up to 10K. So if you haven't already yet, you can sign up on the Instagram at Paradigm Shift Central. Awesome. Oh, and the other option, I forgot to mention this. If you sign up on the Patreon, you can also get the option to get a reading from the Lightworker Oracle deck, which is just like another option for variety. And so that one's like really cool. So that's like an Oracle deck, which is a little bit different. But yeah, this one's like tarot, this one's Oracle, but it's a really, really unique deck, and we've done some readings with it. And yeah, I know a lot of people really resonate with it. So okay. All right. And Mark, so just to clarify, and Mark, if you're signing up for the Patreon, thank you very much. And again, so when you sign up for the Patreon, again, there's the sign up doesn't process until the first of each month. So it won't process until January. And then to be able to claim a Light Guardian Crystal, it's an additional pay what you wish contribution that you'll send through PayPal after I message you. And again, that could be like $5. It could be $10, it could be $20. The value of these things for the smaller regular ones starts at $35. For the Lumerian ones, it starts at $45, and these things can go up to like $100. And yeah, and again, as the Light Guardian Crystals, these are exclusive items to the Paradigm Shift Central project. So all right, for those of you tuning in on Instagram, we're just gonna get right into our next reading. And again, if you would like to be able to jump the line for the reading, they are available for people as I sign up to the Patreon. And we do readings like for people right out of the chat when we start the broadcast, and we'll be doing plenty more broadcasts. And I appreciate everybody joining in. And yeah, thank you for being here. All right. So we still got about another hour. So again, we're just going to give it 2 seconds here. And I'm going to give some more shout outs to people as they're tuned in. So shout out to Tamar from Taos NM. I'm not North Massachusetts. I'm not familiar with the United States acronyms. Kay from PA. Is that Pennsylvania? Again, I'm not too sure. Jackie from the Netherlands. Anne from Long Island, New York. Awesome. I know what NY stands for. Ada from Arkansas. Thank you so much, everyone. Kaylee from Paris, Ontario. And I am in London, Ontario. So, Tamar tuning in from New Mexico. For Paf Flores, if you join in on if you click my bio link on Instagram, that will take you to the YouTube. And then once you're on the YouTube, you'll like see the Patreon written on screen. So the Patreon is patreon.com/Brendan Culleton. Are you familiar with Patreon already? It sounds like you're kind of already familiar with it. But yeah, click my bio link and that will link you to the YouTube. And then once you're in the YouTube, it's like in the description. So I hope that makes sense. Again, we're kind of doing things a little bit different here. Again, I'm working on mastering this. So thanks again, everyone, for your support. Appreciate it. And I'm excited to be able to get into this next reading. We're just hanging tight. One extra moment here. I just want to be able to give Mark an extra moment here to be able to sign up. Thanks for the support, everyone. Okie dokie. All right, so yeah, I think tomorrow I'll be doing a broadcast. Probably, what time do you guys think I should do a broadcast at tomorrow? Because I was going to do it during the midday. I was going to do it at 12-ish or 11-ish Eastern Standard Time. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Again, I'd be happy to just get into the next reading right away, but we just want to hang tight just for a couple extra seconds to be able to give people a chance to be able to sign up on the Patreon, because I think we got a couple people who are in the process of signing up. But yeah, so I'll just explain to you a little bit more about what the Paradigm Shift Central project is, because a part of what we're doing is being able to help feature and support other conscious creators. So people who are entrepreneurs, people who are creating content, and we are building a platform that we've been building for quite a while. And specifically, we've been focusing this last month. I was really focusing a lot on building the team Instagram, and through there, we've been featuring a variety of conscious media creators. And I really, really encourage you to go check out the team Instagram, because I'm really excited for the growth of it. Okie dokie. All right, Mark, if you're there, go ahead and let me know. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I don't want you to feel like we're making you wait too long. So, yeah, and with the with the crystals, again, like with the crystals themselves, Magi, I just seen your comment there. Like, yeah, with these, like, I encourage people to encode them with intention, encode them with their own intention. And yeah, usually like with crystals, I don't usually say like, oh, this is specifically this, or it's specifically that. Basically, yeah, I encourage it to be a symbol that you want it to be. I encourage you to encode it with an intention that you want it to serve for. So very simply put, like, I don't try to get overly complicated when it comes to working with crystals. I like to give people like simple instructions where it's basically, you know, you can have a crystal serve as a symbol. You can have a crystal serve as an example of representing, say, for this crystal, this for me represents calmness. And then every time I see it, every time I see that crystal, it will bring the vision and the intention of calmness into my mind. All right. Beautiful. Mark, you are signed up on the Patreon. Thank you so much for adding your support. And Mark, please feel free to keep an eye open. I'll send you a direct message tomorrow through the Patreon, and we'll be able to collaborate and calibrate you signing up there to be able to choose a Lumerian Light Guardian crystal for you. All right, so Mark, if you are ready for your reading, we will get right into this. And Mark, I'll let you choose. And again, for everybody here, again, we're going to do this reading for Mark, but at the same time, this is a reading for anybody. So, yes, Mark. So you did select it, Mark. You did select the $11 level, so I will give you the option to choose an additional Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal for a simple additional pay what you wish contribution. And again, that additional contribution is like to help pay with shipping and stuff. So, Mark, I want you to choose. What would you like? Would you like the Ananda Tarot deck, or would you like the Lightworker Oracle deck? And thank you again, dude, so much for adding your support. I'm just going to add the on-screen updated information there, and then we're going to get right into this reading. And for anybody here who wants to be able to, like, ideally when we do these, I want to be able to like keep the ball rolling as fast as we can. I don't want to be able to have too much downtime. So if someone here wants to get ready for the next reading, you can help with that by signing up for the Patreon, and again, help us get to our goal of 200 by 2020. What is the significance of the date January 21st, 2021? Mark, I don't have an answer for that. Is there a reason you asked that? Because I'm not exactly sure. All right, so Mark, if you're ready for your reading, okay, Mark, we'll do the Ananda Tarot deck. Cool. And Mark, to confirm, so with the Patreon, you're aware that the Patreon is a monthly contribution. And so with the Lumerian Light Guardian crystals, to be able to get one as like an additional pay what you wish, it's with the understanding that people will continue their contribution. But if you need to put your contribution on hold at any point, that's okay. It's very flexible in that matter. So it's just being able to honor the energy exchange in that way. And again, thank you for supporting not only what I do for the community, but for supporting the community as a whole. So thank you, Mark. All right, Mark. So if you're ready for this reading, let's get right into this. And again, for everybody here, if you would like to be able to jump in for the next reading, then go ahead and check out the Patreon as we're getting things set up here. And the next reading that we'll do will be for the next person who signs up on the Patreon, and we have enough time for a few more readings. And give me 2 seconds here. I just have to restart the feed on Instagram. 1 second here. Awesome. Again, when we do these broadcasts, like, it's about building a team. It's about building community. And that's a really important thing. So if you're here and if you're like someone who like wants to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness, then welcome. And thank you for being here, and be sure to stay tuned. And we have regular live broadcasts that we do as well. So all right, give me 2 seconds here. I'm just gonna get a sip of water, and by water I mean orange juice. All right. Okie dokie. For those of you who are here, just drop a 333 in the chat. For any of you who are here, just let me know that you're here. And Mark, let's get ready to get right into this reading for you. So thank you again, Mark. Super appreciate it. We'll keep an eye open for another Patreon sign up as we go. And in the meantime, let's get right into this reading with Mark before I have to head out for hockey. So Mark, again, I remind you that when I do these readings, this isn't intended to be a psychic reading per se. This isn't supposed to be a fortune telling. The way how we do this reading is that we set the intention of show us what we need to see. And for us to be able to receive a message from the universe, and for the cards to work as a conduit, and for myself and for you to be the receiver of that message, to be the messenger of that message. So Mark, I invite you to close your eyes. If you want to put your hand on your heart, connect with your breath. Just bring yourself into this present moment. Bring yourself into that space of gratitude. Let's take a couple breaths here. And as you are here, Mark, I encourage you to bring your awareness to the intention of show me what I need to see. And take a few more breaths here with this intention. And when you are ready, you're going to type now into the chat, and I will split the card split the deck and pull the card for you. So I thank you once again, my friends, for being here in this story that never ends. This journey that we are on as we continue to become strong, as we continue to show up every day, all night long, as we do our best, as we dance our way through these streets, as we inspire others to be who they are meant to be, as we shift the paradigms with the power of our love, as we show others what it means to be connected above and below with these roots, to bring forth this inner truth. As we breathe into our heart, we change the world with our art. And Mark says now, as we split the deck, and we shall reveal the card that we have. All right. Mark, thank you again for your support on the Patreon, charging this card up with this super chunky Lumerian Light Guardian Crystal. For those of you tuning in on Instagram, click my Instagram bio link to be able to jump over to the YouTube, and that way so you can see the proper camera. So, the card that we have pulled for Mark here tonight is Swords 10. So this is a very, very, very cool card. I'm going to open this up into the deck, and give me 1 second here. So 10 of Swords. All right. Okay. For those of you who are here, thank you again. We're going to get right into this reading. For those of you who would like to be able to jump in and jump the line for the next reading, go ahead and sign up for the Patreon as you're listening to this. And we'll check back in with that as we complete this reading for Mark, our newest Patreon supporter. So thank you. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, everyone. So, looking at this card here, what do we have image-wise? And then I'll explain a little bit more from the deck. And again, for those of you tuning in on Instagram, click my Instagram bio link so you can see on YouTube, so you can see what I'm pointing at. Okay, so this card here, what do we have? We have multiple swords up in the sky, and they're crisscrossing over one another, pointing in multiple directions. This is like high above the horizon. There's some like fluffy clouds there. You can kind of like see the clouds in the distance, the water in the distance of the earth down below, and the stars up in the sky, and the swords are kind of beautifully transparent. It's very, 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 very interesting image. So I'm going to read to you what it says in the book, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk about what this card means and the message that this card has, not just for Mark, but for us, for the team, for the community. So again, if you're listening to this message is for you. So thank you. And thank you, Mark. So Mark, as you're listening to this, I just invite you to just be open to receive the message that is coming through. 10 of Swords. The image. In the infinite distance of the cosmos, 10 swords appear to transform themselves into chaos above a bottomless world. Meaning, similarly to the 10 of Flames, here in the 10 of Swords, a common trait of the sequence of 10 is reached, a climactic high point at which no further improvement is possible. This means that the highest degree of consciousness is attainable, but it also means that something is being brought to an end. Human understanding tends to judge presumptuously. Every judgment that is made should be borne by the consciousness that one is his own final judge. Consequently, this means that man is responsible for his own thinking and therefore also his own action. I'm going to reread that. Consequently, this means that man is responsible for his own thinking and therefore also for his own actions. What is brought into the world as judgment originated as prejudice in thought. The situation requires considering all eventualities in order to be able to arrive at a concrete result. All mental abilities should be used, as the situation requires thinking in large parameters. I'm going to reread that. The situation requires considering all eventualities in order to be able to arrive at a concrete result. All mental abilities should be used, as the situation requires thinking in larger parameters. The consciousness of the whole should not be lost sight of. It is necessary to observe all possibilities. In order to arrive at the final realization that precipitates a wise decision, too much mental activity, however, would mean that the emotional world is getting colder, indicating a loss of compassion and human warmth. I'll reread that part. Too much mental activity, however, would mean that the emotional world is getting colder, indicating a loss of compassion and human warmth. Therefore, it is worth recommending letting the mind come to rest and letting thoughts stand still. In the Asian way of thought, the mind is often compared to a monkey that jumps restlessly from branch to branch. The mind, with its endless thoughts, however, is only restless until it finds its center, which is peace. The original state of the mind is pure being. All of its movements follow the goal of returning back to this state. Astrological significance: Mercury, Saturn conjunction aspects. Keywords: mind, thinking ahead, inner orientation, becoming conscious, holistic thought, inspiration, knowledge, realistic self-assessment, disillusionment, reality check, meditation. Traditional meaning: realization, clarity, understanding, logic, reason, stillness, closure. All right. So this is a card that is a very, very important card to be able to receive. And especially, again, like as we're approaching, like, I'm not just trying to be cliche, but as we're approaching 2020 and old things are coming to an end and new things are beginning, this card is really bringing to the forefront the idea of how do we prepare for that next chapter? How do we get ready for what is next? And in order to be able to get ready for what is next, we have to make sure that we look back at where we have been. We have to make sure that we spend time appreciating every single thing that came into our path, not just for the fact that it might have been good, or not just for the fact that it might have been hard, but for the fact that it gave us what we need. And not only that, but we have to make the responsible choice to be able to intentionally extract the lessons from those experiences. And oftentimes, this is something where a lot of people, they might struggle when it comes to moving ahead, and they might find themselves repeating patterns because they don't take the time to be able to reflect on what lessons they have learned from the past chapter, from where they have just come from. So this card is really encouraging us to be able to honor what's ahead by meditating on not just where we have come from, but where we are now. How are we feeling? What have we learned? What have we integrated? What have we not integrated? What do we need to be able to integrate? Every judgment that is made should be borne by the consciousness that one is his own final judge. Consequently, this means that man is responsible for his own thinking and therefore also his own actions. What is brought into the world as judgment originally originated as prejudice in thought. So we need to be able to be aware of any judgments that we have towards our past. Oftentimes, it's easy for us to be able to judge our past when it doesn't meet a certain expectation, when something doesn't fully align with how we wanted it to go. But usually, not even just usually, but all the times, the universe will give us not just what we need, not just what we want, but what we need. And it is our judgment that will prevent us from being able to really integrate the lesson of what is given to us. So I encourage you, Mark, to really check in with yourself and reflect. How are you showing up as a student? How are you showing up as a student to the cosmic lessons that are coming along your path? And how can you be a better student as you get ready for the next chapter? And again, maybe this chapter is December 21st. Or sorry, January 20, maybe it's December 21st, maybe it's January 21st, 21. I mean, that's a year away from now. Maybe it's the beginning of the new year. Maybe it's right now that you're going through. In order to be able to think ahead, it's important to be able to look at the crossroad of where we are now, where we have come from, and to become conscious of that, and to bring the past into the present with the purpose of inspiration, knowing that the past has given us everything that we need to be able to move into that next stage, to be able to move us into that next chapter. And that's basically the way in which the universe works, is that as we continue to graduate, the universe will constantly give us those tests that are needed to be able to serve us so that we can be prepared for the test still to come. Every great challenge is just training for the next one. It's something that I often like to think. The situation requires considering all eventualities in order to be able to arrive at a concrete result. All mental abilities should be used as the situation requires thinking in larger parameters. So whatever it is that you have ahead of you, instead of just rushing into it, which is something that a lot of people will do, and this isn't trying to be something that is a judgment, but more so just an observation without prejudice, and perhaps acknowledge that in your past. Acknowledge that in the past, where have there been times where as new chapters have begun that you've kind of rushed into things and maybe you didn't give yourself that extra moment to take one more breath, to prepare, to slow down, to reflect, to meditate, to go inwards. The consciousness of the whole should not be lost sight of. It is necessary to observe all possibilities in order to arrive at the final realization that precipitates a wise decision. So with this card, Mark, really just kind of boiling it down, this card really emphasizes the intention and the purpose of wise decision making. And really invite yourself to be able to reflect on that, Mark. Really be able to invite yourself to just be able to think and be like, how can I continue to make as wise a move as possible? You know, it's kind of like playing chess. If you're playing chess and you're just kind of like making moves without really thinking ahead, what's going to happen? Your opponent is probably going to get the better of you. You might get lucky sometimes, but the best way to be able to play chess is to be able to think ahead. You're usually thinking ahead like 3, maybe 4 steps. And so what happens when we approach our life that way? Not in a way where it kind of like makes us neurotic, but just in a way where it makes us aware. It makes us aware and also responsible for our actions and the consequences of them. A lot of people, they might kind of live a life where they're basically just kind of, you know, moving into an action. They don't really think too much about it, and then they deal with the consequences later. And then they have a lesson that they need to learn there. So I think with this card, Mark, it's really inviting us to be able to say to the universe that I am beyond, you know, like I if there are lessons that have served their purpose, then I acknowledge that I have received that purpose, that I have received that lesson. And until you have received that lesson, those lessons will continue to come back. And that's basically the way it will continue to work. So you really need to be able to, and again, not just Mark, for everybody here, and especially as we're moving into 2020, to really be able to self-assess. And to, again, one of the key words in here is disillusionment, reality check, to get real with ourselves, to essentially call ourselves out on our bullshit. And this can be something as simple as habits. This can be something as simple as just like the little things that we do on a day-to-day basis that maybe aren't really serving our highest good, that maybe aren't really moving us into where we need to be. And those things in themselves, those habits that themselves are kind of part of a past, they themselves are teachers. And again, when we see the past as a teacher, then it allows us to move forward into the mystery of what's ahead of us with more confidence, because we know that whatever is going to come our way is going to be just that, a teacher. And when we know it's a teacher, what do we need to do? We need to show up as a student. We need to show up in a way that's going to continue to be present, so that we're taking notes, so that we're paying attention, so that we're showing the universe that we're getting ready. And so again, really encouraging you to take time to meditate. Again, the 10 kind of being like the culmination of one chapter ending, another chapter beginning. But before that next chapter begins, let's do kind of like a review of the last chapter. If you were to get quizzed on that last chapter, how would you do? If you were paying attention, you'd probably get a pretty good mark, 99%, something like that. But if you weren't paying attention and you just jump into that next chapter, what do you expect is going to happen? So give yourself that service by making sure that you prepare to move into that next chapter by reflecting on where you have been. I'm just going to read some of your comments right now, Mark, and then I'll kind of just elaborate a little bit further. It says, thank you. I've been trying to learn as much as possible. Science, variable fact. My brain on overdrive. I also must use mindfulness and listen to find peace. Peace with what is to come. Thank you. Thank you, yet prepare with knowledge gained to this point. Yes, very well said, Mark. Thank you, universe slash the great mystery. Great mystery. I've thrown the rose-colored glasses away. So much pain, yet reality is reality. Thank you for sharing, Mark. And again, just kind of like drawing in the themes of this, but I think you're already getting it. You're already getting the message here. So I'm not going to just like repeat myself too many times. But again, like this card is a very logical card. And again, for someone such as yourself, Mark, who is a very like kind of like science-minded person, I'm sure you can kind of like see the logic in this, that this logic is ultimately calling us into responsibility, where it's like, oh, if you want to get ready for that next chapter, then you have to make sure that you did your homework, that you paid attention, that you cleaned up where there might have been a mess, that you took notes where you needed to take notes. And again, like what you said, you use the data that has been given to you. You use the information that has been given to you. You use the notes that you have already taken and carry that wisdom with you into that next chapter with confidence. With that confidence, yet not in a way that prevents you from being open to what is still there for you to learn at the same time, which is very, very important. It's kind of like that idea of, you want to be able to like, as one chapter comes to an end, it's like you got a full cup, and then that cup, that is like everything that you needed from that chapter. This is kind of a weird metaphor, but I'm going to say it anyways. And say that cup is like nothing but experience, and you've gotten it, and you've gotten what you need. What you're going to do, you're going to like sip that cup, and you're going to slowly take it in. You're going to meditate each and every sip. You're going to be like, what did I learn that one time? Oh, yes. Oh, what did that relationship teach me? Oh, yes. Oh, remember that time when I embarrassed myself by accident? What did I learn there? Oh, yes. And you sip and you sip and you sip, and you embody, and you integrate. But you also empty your cup because you're getting your cup ready for that next chapter so that you can fill it back up again. And then as you fill it back up again, what do you do by the end of that next chapter? You continue to sip. And maybe you're sipping as you're drinking, like as it's filling up. Again, that's kind of a weird metaphor. I've never used that one before, but I think you can understand what I'm saying. And I think this card really, just kind of like wrap it up here, Mark. This card really, as you kind of already said, really invites us into the purpose of peace, invites us into the purpose of mindfulness. Whereas basically, again, kind of saying if we're in the monkey mind habit, it's hard for us to see the lessons. Oftentimes they may be right in front of us, but we may be focusing too far ahead. We may be looking right past them. But instead, if we practice bringing ourselves into our own center, if we practice bringing ourselves to our own peace, if we come to peace with our past, if we come to peace with the things that we have learned, knowing that they're preparing us, then it allows us to move forward into that next chapter with more openness, more centeredness, more inspiration, more inner orientation, more consciousness, more holistic thought, a realistic self-assessment, and being able to understand and move forward with a sense of clarity and logic and realization as well. So definitely, Mark, with this card and for anybody, how can we practice honoring the benefits of stillness, the practice of stillness, to kind of do some little like time traveling through our meditation, to reflect, to assess, to journal, to take notes, to honor where we have come from as we prepare to move into what we have still ahead of us. So, keywords: mind, thinking ahead, inner orientation, becoming conscious, holistic health, inspiration, holistic thought, inspiration, knowledge, realistic self-assessment, disillusionment, reality check, meditation. One of the things I'll just say that is important is that with this, oftentimes we may find ourselves in a habit of self-sabotage. How many people here do this? How many people here find themselves in a habit of self-sabotage? And again, this might be like everyday habits. Self-sabotage happens when our body is trying to protect itself. But the way in which we prevent ourselves from sabotaging ourselves is by building resilience. And the way how we build resilience is not by running away from fear, but by moving into challenge intentionally. So Mark, I encourage you, and for anybody here, as we move forward through this month, I encourage you to do things that challenge you. I encourage you to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, with the intention of it building resilience and with the intention of it being holographic, so that as you do that, it will serve other parts of your life. When things don't go to plan, so to speak, your resilience will allow you to keep focus. Instead of like suddenly things don't go to plan, you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable, and then you start complaining, and then things are all over the place, and then you drop things on the ground, and you're like, oh no, and now I have to pick things up again. What do I do? I'm a mess. But if you develop resilience, then when things go awry, when things show up and challenge you, you'll be able to meet them with more presence. You'll be able to meet them with more fortitude. You'll be able to meet them with more mindfulness. You'll be able to meet them with more centeredness, and you'll be able to observe them better so that you can pay more attention, so that you can be more present, so that you can learn, so that you can be there with what is actually happening, opposed to being just in your mind, opposed to being just the monkey mind. And you'll be able to see things for what they are. Again, I'll just wrap it up here, but it's such a powerful idea. When you approach any situation with the knowing that you can choose to see it from a point of empowerment, that can radically change your life. Suddenly you realize that like disempowerment in many ways can be a choice, meaning that whatever challenge, whatever uncomfortable situation you may be in, there's a way to see it from a point of empowerment. There's a way to be able to see it as like, oh yes, this is calling me into more of my power. This is calling me into more of my ability to navigate. This is calling me into my ability to communicate, to set boundaries, to be able to like say what's on my mind, say what's on my heart, express my feelings, whatever it may be. It may be relative. So again, I'm just going to wrap this up here. But again, Mark, and for everybody here, this is a very, very important card that just kind of reminds us that as we get ready to move into that next chapter, and again, that's usually what the 10 is. The 10 kind of refers to like a culmination. We've gone through what we've need through. We're getting ready to move into that next chapter. But before we jump into that next chapter, let's practice bringing ourselves into the center, observe the past, make sure we've gotten the message that we need, make sure we've learned the lessons that we need, make sure we've done our homework, make sure that we're ready to move into that next grade, that next chapter. Make sure that we've got all of our things in check to the best of our ability, yet still open to whatever the universe still has ahead of us, knowing that the universe is there to constantly serve us, and knowing that our role is to show up as the best student that we can be. So, Mark, showing up as the best student you can be, what does that mean to you? And I think when you ask that question, that will help point you in more of a direction that you need. And I say that to anybody here. Mark says, love the metaphor of a cup. Well said. I use the empty vessel that the great mystery will fill us, and it refilled again. We use what is given, and the vessel will be refilled. Never despair when feeling empty. Rejoice what is to come. Thank you again. I have to mix with people again, break isolation, and always remember the queen should ignite rather than touch others. Going back to the queen card, I like that. Get it? You're kind of integrating all the cards together there. So Mark, thank you again for being our reading. Thank you again for your support on the Patreon. And for anybody here, Mark included, drop an 1111 in the chat if this message came through and resonated with you, and if this was something that served you, and let us know in the chat how that served you. So that's a 10 of swords there. And again, thank you to Mark, our newest Patreon supporter, for signing up and adding their support, not just to what we're doing here, but to the entire community. So thank you, Mark. Very appreciated. Mark, please send me a friend request on Facebook. You're more than welcome to, and I can send you a screenshot, a picture of what's written here, and then you can read it and kind of decipher it on your own time as well. You're more than welcome to let me know, and I'll send you a message there as well. Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for your support, for being here, for hanging out. We've got time for at least one more reading, and that next reading will be for the next person who would like a reading and would also like to support on the Patreon. So I saw a couple comments there. People were asking if there was a list. The list is when people sign up to the Patreon, then they can join the next reading. They can have the next reading on air. And even if you would like a private reading, then you can also have that option as well. So, and there's lots of other perks when signing up on the Patreon. It's not just the reading. You also get a whole bunch of other stuff that you get. Thank you for your support. A few other people there. Welcome to Woozy, Naomi, Kaylee. Thank you again. Pedro, thank you for joining. Thank you for those of you tuning in on Instagram. If you click my Instagram bio, you can tune in on YouTube, and then you can watch from that angle as well. So, Mark, if you have any other comments you would like to be able to share, please feel free to do that. All right, so like I said, for those of you who would like a next reading on air, I'm going to be doing a lot of readings over the next month because our objective is to be able to reach 200 on Patreon. And we're going to be doing plenty of readings. So when we do these broadcasts, we're doing readings for the community. We're building a team. We're inviting people to the Paradigm Shift Central Instagram page. And we're also inviting people to support on Patreon to help us reach our goal of 200 by 2020. And so if you would like a reading on air, you can have the option of being able to sign up on the Patreon. If you stick around, then somebody else will sign up. And one second here. I just gotta reply to a comment here because I think there might be. We might be. I think we have someone here who we're gonna do a reading with, who is actually a Patreon supporter who signed up a little while ago, who I still owe a reading to because we didn't do it the last time we were on air, and I'm just checking with them. And if that's the case, then we'll do this next reading for them, and then at the same time, okay, cool. All right, so Tagoja, how should I pronounce your name? If you can let me know how you want me to pronounce your name, please feel free. And let me know which chat you're in. Where are you watching from? That way, so if you want to leave your comments, other people can see them. But we're going to do a reading for you. I think I want to say Tanjasun? I remember there's a couple names that you signed up with. So if you have an easy way for me to be able to pronounce your name, please feel free to let me know. All right, so again, for those of you who are tuning in, make sure you subscribe because we're going to be doing a lot more of these broadcasts. Takusha? Is that pronounced right? Am I pronouncing that right? All right. So that's good though, because that means we'll get right into this next reading and no hang time there. Takusha. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm trying my best. And we'll get right into this. And again, for anybody here, if anybody else wants to sign up for the Patreon, please feel free to do that. Mark, thank you again. Thank you again for joining in and adding your supports. Not like in cool, like in Alongo. Takusha, I think. I think that's what it is. I'm gonna call you Takusha, if I'm pronouncing that right. Okay. All right. So Takusha, confirm for me that you're ready for this next reading, and we'll go through there. They're just messaging me through private chat, so I'm just going to be kind of like following their lead there. And again, for those of you who are tuned in, thank you so much. Even if it's your first time here, go ahead and take a look at my Patreon. Because again, it's something that I'm inviting you to be able to support, because you supporting on there, it's not just helping me, it's helping the entire community. We've been creating this community for like 10 years, finding other people, and me being able to like invite you to the Patreon helps support me and helping support the community. So not like in cool. Takusha. Okay. I'm gonna do your reading now. Takusha. Close enough, they said. All right, so let's get into this reading for Takusha, who is one of our Patreon supporters. They signed up back in when we were doing a previous reading, and again, I think that was just like we like ended the broadcast a little bit early that day, and they've been patient, and so we're gonna do a reading for them now, and that works perfectly for me. And again, for anybody else here, make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't already yet, please feel free to follow me on YouTube as well. And that way you can get synced up with notifications. So if you're tuning into this on Facebook, go ahead and tune in on YouTube as well. All right, so Takusha, let me know that you're ready. and we will get right into this reading for you. And I know there's like a bit of a delay, but I can still communicate to you through the chat. And oh, and which would you prefer? Ananda tarot deck or Oracle tarot deck? Which one do you prefer? I'm holding it upside down. Lightworker Oracle deck or Ananda tarot deck? Which one do you prefer? And give me 2 seconds here. I'm just going to take a little bit of an intermission. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. This will be the last reading because after this reading, I'll be heading out for hockey. I may have room to do one more reading after this if someone signs up for the Patreon really quickly. But again, we'll be doing some more readings tomorrow. I want to get like 10 Patreon signups in one day. I want to be able to do that. That's like my objective. Because I mean, if we can get up to 200 before the end of December, then that's just a huge bonus. So all right, 1 second here. I just have to. Okay. All right. Takusha, I'm not sure if you saw, but let me know that you're ready for your reading, and we'll get into this reading. And if you wanted the Ananda Tarot deck or the Lightworker Oracle deck, let me know which one you would like. Oh, you're in the... Okay, you're in that chat. Okay. Takusha, I'm standing by for your confirmation. All right. So Takusha, just give me the confirmation if you would like. Okay. I'm ready. I'll take a tarot reading. Okay, so we'll do the tarot. Okay. All right, we'll do the Ananda tarot reading. All right, so this is for Takusha, who is on the live chat on my personal profile. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in and for being here. And let's get right into this reading. And again, if anybody would like another reading, Takusha, you're good there. That's totally cool. Go ahead and check out my Patreon, and it doesn't have to be right this second. You can check out my Patreon a little bit later as well. So. Okay. All right. Okay, Takusha, let's do this. Thank you for joining. Oh, thanks for those of you joining in on Instagram too. If you want to swipe up on, or not swipe up, click my Instagram bio link to tune in on YouTube, or you can just watch there. That's totally cool too. All right, let's do this. Okay, Takusha, for everybody here, thank you for joining. Takusha, I invite you to bring yourself into your heart space. Bring yourself into a place of gratitude. Put your hand on your heart if you wish. Take a simple breath here. Just connect with your breath. Connect with gratitude. Now from here, I want you to be able to bring yourself into the intention of show me what I need to see. And as you do this, take a few more breaths. No rush. And when you are ready, you're going to type now into the chat, and then I'll pull the card for you. And so, as the winds continue to shift, may we spread our wings as we fly into new realms of bliss, so that we can see more of this lucid within this dream as we learn to fly, as we learn to take ourselves up into the sky. Flying above these hills oh so green, we will see things that we have never seen. And as Takusha types now into the chat, we shall split the deck and see what message the universe has. Alright. Okie dokie. So, Charging this up with the light guarding crystal. The card that we have pulled for Takusha, one of our Patreon supporters, is Flames 6. Give me 2 seconds here as I open this up, and we will get right into this reading. So again, for anybody here, if you are here, this reading is for you. This message is for you. There's something that has brought you here. And now there is a message from the universe. So let me draw a little bit more detail on what the image of this card is depicting, and then from there we'll read a little bit more from the book. Do you guys like my glasses? If I wear them like that, is that help? Okay. All right. Flames. Oh, I can't breathe if I do that. Flame 6. Looking at this image here, this is a very, very beautiful image. Beautiful mandala in the sky with star, basically we'll just call it a star with 6 points, very much like a Merkaba star tetrahedron, pointing in all different directions, ignited high above the landscape, beautiful green rolling hills down below, and the sky is kind of like from a white to purple, from a day till dusk. So, or maybe it's dawn. And again, you can see this beautiful kind of like mandala snowflake type pattern, sacred geometry in the sky behind the pillars, looking out, the pillars of light. So let's read a little bit more. So again, for those of you here, if you're just here, go ahead, drop a 333 in the chat. Let us know that you're here, and let's read a little bit more on what this card has for us. Thank you again, Takusha, for adding your support on the Patreon. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Thank you for being open to the messages that we are bringing forth for Takusha, for the team. 6 of Flames. The image. Rising above all earthly things, a majestic 6-pointed star radiates from the clarity of the universe and bathes a pastoral countryside on earth in a state of peaceful harmony. Meaning, and as I'm reading this again, just be open to receiving. As a result of previous efforts, man finally reaps recognition and honor. Typical of successful undertakings are a positive attitude regarding one's intentions and the goal-oriented use of one's strength. I'm going to reread that. Typical of successful undertakings are a positive attitude regarding one's intentions and a goal-orientation of one's strength. The community's recognition, which brings inherent success, requires double the amount of responsibility and increased attentiveness. Due to his position, man stands in the center of public events. Besides being responsible for the duties that social status invokes, his actions and character serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. I'm going to reread that. Due to his position, man stands in the center of public events. Besides being responsible for the duties that the social status invokes, his actions and character serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. A meaningful existence makes the responsibility that is to be borne a pleasure rather than a burden. In the centeredness of self, the security is found that is necessary to fulfill his duties. Therefore, man can let his inner strengths rest in peace. The victory that comes is not due to the oppression of someone else, but due to the control over the base nature of man, the baser nature of man. Whoever conquers another has strength. Whoever conquers himself has power. I love that. I'm going to reread that again. Whoever conquers another has strength. Whoever conquers himself has power. Man stands on the sunny side of life. Relative to outer success, inner life also takes on a new dimension of awareness. With the increase of life quality, the qualities of the heart also increase, as well as the capacity to find and recognize inner happiness. Whoever recognizes the connection of his own being with the divine being on a deeper level of identity remains, in spite of the honor that is his due, modest in all walks of life, without succumbing to arrogance. Astrological significance: Sun, Jupiter, trine, sextile aspects. Keywords: initiative, goal-oriented, strength, leadership qualities, responsibility, satisfaction, peacefulness, collected strength, awareness of responsibility, quality of life, self-confidence, sunny side of life. Traditional meaning: recognition, honor, victory, success, fame, power, self-control, reward. This is a very, very, very cool card to be able to receive. And again, whether this card is specifically what we're not just talking to Kusha here, but literally talking to anyone here who's receiving this message. So for me, when I see this card, some of the main things that really stand out to me are the idea of integration of one's spiritual awareness with their physical identity. And one of the things that I think is part of the journey here as individuals, as humans here on this earth plane, is to be able to integrate our 5D consciousness with our 3D form, so to speak. And basically, in doing this, for some, it's easy for that to be oftentimes something that can kind of fuel an element of the ego. It can kind of like embody us into a character that feels really, really big and feels really, really important because it really, really is. But that doesn't need to define our character. Instead, what we want to be able to do is acknowledge how big, how cosmic, how infinite we truly are, while also acknowledging how earthly we are. How much it means to be able to be the bridge between the higher conscious ideas and this mainstream culture, to be able to communicate things in simple ways so that others can be able to receive the messages that are coming forth. So for you, Takusha, I think in receiving this card, and for anybody here, it really reminds us that as we continue to become quote unquote enlightened, as we continue to be able to connect with deeper parts of our spiritual nature, which again, I really think is kind of like brought forth in the idea of like this card appearing as like the star tetrahedron, appearing as Takusha says, Hagals, which I think is like, again, that's from a European phrase. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I'll have to look it up. But again, with this being the flames, this card is really reminding us that when the time comes for us to be able to be in a position of power, in a position of responsibility, in a position of leadership, that we must not let it simply get to our head, but we must allow it to call us into more responsibility. So this card is really inviting us into humility, is really inviting us into service. You know, it's the difference between like, hey, I'm going to create an Instagram post because I want everybody to see how great I am, because I know I'm so great and I'm so great and everyone's going to see how great I am and they're going to like my post and it's going to feed my ego and I'm going to feel great about myself. It's a difference between that and being able to be, yes, I know I am great because the greatness that I am is the greatness that we are. And the only reason I show my own greatness is to serve as a mirror for you to see the greatness in you, to invite you into your own greatness. So it's that slight difference of leadership, the type of leadership that's just like, hey, everyone, look at me, give me your attention, versus the leadership that's, hey, everyone, while you're looking at me, I invite you to look at yourself. I invite you to see me as a mirror so that you can see yourself in me. So that as I exude my confidence, you are given permission to exert your confidence as well. The community's recognition, which brings inherent success, requires double the amount of responsibility and increased attentiveness. Due to his position, man stands in the center of public events. Besides being responsible for the duties that social status invokes, his actions and characters serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. So for you, Takusha, whether this is something that's immediately relative to you or something that perhaps is like on the horizon for you, or perhaps it is something that you wish to bring in more of, that idea of how can I be how can I put myself at the center of attention? How can I put myself in a position of leadership? Not for my own purposes, not for my own gain, but to serve as a role model for the collective consciousness. And this is something that I think each and every single one of us has the potential to be. Each and every single one of us has the potential to be at the center of a public event due to the way in which social media works these days. If you have people following your work, then you have their attention. If you have their attention, you can create an influence. You can create an impression. You can be a role model. You can be an archetype model. And so this card is really encouraging us to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. It's kind of like the most spiritual way I can explain what this card is saying, because this card, again, being a flame card, is really reflecting on that type of energy that can become very powerful. It can become incredibly seen. It can become a beacon of inspiration, but when left unchecked, it can burn a forest. It can burn a house. We can burn ourselves. We can burn ourselves down to ash if we are left unchecked. So this is about being able to carry the flames inside of us wisely, to carry them responsibly. If you find yourself, like, again, like, I think it's really great when you start to see people in positions of influence who go through an awakening period and they themselves almost exhibit what this card is talking about. Where, say, for example, previously, like, they're just like, hey, like, I've got all this attention on me. People are paying attention to me, but maybe it's for something kind of superficial. And maybe eventually that gets to them and they're just like, what influence am I really making? And as I'm transforming, how do I transform my message? How do I transform the impression that others are receiving through interacting with me in this community space? And so the internet, the social media platform, is the modern day town square when you think about it. Everyone's got their own soapbox that they can stand on. Everyone can say, hey, everyone, look at me, look at me, look at me. And what do you do while they're looking at you? Do you tell a joke? Do you make them laugh? Or do you make them think? Do you do both? Can you make them laugh and can you make them think at the same time? That is another layer of, like, dynamic leadership. And it's something that, I mean, even just kind of bringing in my own experience as a leader, I think it really comes from the idea of being able to understand that we are leaders amongst leaders, that we are captains amongst captains, that we are leaders igniting other leaders. And that is what is important. And you want to be able to ignite other people, not just by always being serious and being like, oh, we need to change what we're doing. We need to change our ways, and we need to, like, burn the White House, and we need to and do this and and overthrow the patriarchy and things like that. Or what happens when you bring in more of a playfulness? What happens when you start focusing on the individual? What starts happening when you focus on the gifts that they have and you start seeing them? Imagine the influence it makes for a person who sees some sort of celebrity or some sort of influence, some sort of influencer, and they look up to them, and then that person gets off their soapbox, so to speak, gets off their pedestal and comes down and meets them on that eye level and speaks to them heart to heart and is present with them in that moment. And that person's like, oh my goodness, suddenly, like, I see myself as equal to this person who I once thought was in a whole nother world. It's kind of like this idea, like, sometimes, like, if I'm, like, dressed up as, like, Spider-Man and doing free hugs, and there's, like, younger people and they come up to me, and if they think I'm Spider-Man, because in their mind, like, that's what they're seeing, right? And then, like, I, like, go down to their level and I talk to them and I look in their eyes and I'm present with them, and I'm like, you have the superpower. You have the power of the heart, and that's the most important power that we have. And then suddenly they're just like, whoa. Suddenly, the Spider-Man isn't just this thing that I simply watch and am entertained by, but suddenly it is something that reminds me of my own power. It reminds me of my own purpose. It reminds me of my own destiny. And when you can bring in this element of kind of, like, confidence with playfulness, being serious without taking yourself too seriously, being childlike without being childish, being carefree without being careless. All of these things. I think this is very, very important. So, again, in order to be able to really honor the position that this reality has given us to be leaders, we basically have to be able to make sure that we are doing the inner work, that we are showing up in the best way possible, that we are showing up so that we can serve others. And in return, this is the key thing. When we show up in that way, we allow ourselves to see ourselves. We allow ourselves to be able to see the impact that we're making. We allow ourselves to see the leader inside of ourselves. That's what happens when you serve. It's not just about what you're giving to the other person, but it's what you get out of seeing yourself show up to that situation in a humble way, in a way in which you yourself grow, in a way in which you yourself continue to become brighter, because you receive the gratitude and the appreciation, and you see the impact that you're making in other people's lives. And again, this is something that I really focus on, like bringing into my own place, my own role through social media and through leadership. You know, I really focus on that idea of like bringing in a strength of leadership that is grounded and relatable and accessible, but also like really fucking inspiring, with big visions and big dreams, and doesn't lose track of the bigger objectives, but is still present here in the now. Recently, I saw the new Mr. Rogers movie, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I encourage everyone here to go see that movie, because that movie really kind of relates to this. Here was a man who was like in the center of the spotlight. And what did he do? He used it to speak to children. He used it to speak to others. He used it to answer what was needed. He used it to try and help other people. He used it to be able to help bring more peace and help evoke the strength within other people, to increase the quality of life. So this is a very important card. And again, Takusan, Takuja, I'm not pronouncing your name right anymore. This is a card that's really just for you, for anybody listening to this. It's acknowledging your natural leadership qualities that are inside of you. It's encouraging you to keep being mindful with how you carry them, and keep being aware of the influence that they have over other people, to keep showing up in service, and to keep showing up as the important leaders that this world needs. What type of leaders does this world need? They need leaders that might make a big stage presence, but at the same time are able to get nice and grounded, or to stay relatable, who aren't too far off into the heavens, who aren't too far gone. You know, because I'm sure you kind of see that sometimes where like people almost have this like ultra spiritual vibe to them. And for a lot of people, they're just like, I can't really relate to that. How does that relate to me trying to do what I'm doing, right? So how can we be that bridge? How can we bring the circles together? How can we honor the individual while honoring ourselves and working towards victory, and understanding that victory is a shared success? That's a very powerful idea. Victory is a shared success. When you are working with a team, your victory is their victory. Your victory is your victory. When you grow, they grow. When they grow, you grow. So, really encouraging us again with the image of this to collectively like bring the flames into the nexus, to bring that strength into the center point, to see the eyes looking inwards, and then out of that, allow the eyes to further look outwards, and allow that ripple effect to create more leaders, allow that ripple effect to create this wave that will continue to inspire others. What happens when one superhero creates another, which creates another, which creates another? Well, that's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what being a shifter and being a light guardian is all about. That's a big part of the story that I'm very passionate about being able to help co-create. So, wrapping up this card, and Tanjasan says, service to all, even the evilish part, but there is true evil that must be transformed. Absolutely. And I think you're right. Transformation is very much an important part of this card. And again, it begins with transforming ourselves, and by being able to like be honest with who we are, how we present ourselves, and to understand that, yeah, like there's shadow and light in all of us, right? Like, I think at times, like, if you try and pretend that it's like, oh, like, I need to just be what they expect me to be, I need to just be perfect and happy and da 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 da, eventually that will catch up with you. All you need to do is be real and be responsible and be aware. You are your own brand. You are your own story. You are your message. What example are you setting? What story are you creating? And how are you inviting others to be a part of that? Man stands at the sunny side of life. Relative to outer success, inner life also takes on a new dimension of awareness. With the increase of life quality, the qualities of the heart also increase, as well as the capacity to find and recognize inner happiness. Whoever recognizes the connection of his own being with the divine being on a deeper level of identity remains, in spite of the honor that is his due, modest in all walks of life without succumbing to the arrogance. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, you know, as you make your way up the ladder, don't forget where you came from. And I really relate with this card because, again, even though, like, as popular as I am and as successful as I am, my intention is to continue to grow in that. There are new people who are connecting with my content every day who are like, yo, I really resonate with what this guy's doing. How do I prepare? How do I prepare for the day in 6 months from now where suddenly my audience is like 10 times bigger, maybe 100 times bigger? How do I prepare for that? Right now, because we almost, and again, I kind of say this before, act in the relative to me doing this broadcast, act as if 1,000 people are listening right now. Act as if you have 1,000 people paying attention to you right now. How would you act? How would that feel? And then that way, as you continue to grow into that place, you can still be grounded. You can still be humble. You can still be modest as well. So don't let the fame get to your head, but let it call you into more your purpose. Allow that platform, as it continues to rise, to be able to be something that just invites you to be able to make more impact, more service. So I think this is a very powerful card. And again, keywords in here as we wrap this up: initiative, goal-oriented strength, leadership qualities, responsibility, satisfaction, peacefulness, collected strength, awareness of responsibility, quality of life, self-confidence, sunny side of life, recognition, honor, victory, success, fame, power, self-control, reward. So for you, Tajasan, absolutely. As you continue to grow, as you continue to transform yourself, give yourself permission to step into those places of leadership. You were born for it. You were meant for it. You are here to impact others. You are here to lead by example. And how is being a leader going to help you become more of who you are? Nurture that seed inside of you and rise to that occasion, because that is what is needed. Not just for yourself, for the community and for the shift in consciousness. So beautiful, beautiful card. I really, really like that card. Awesome. So 6 of Flames for Takusha. That's, what did I say before? Takuja. One of our recent Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for adding your support. Super, super appreciated. Leave some comments down below and I'll read that on screen for the rest of the team. And for anybody here, drop an 1111 in the chat to let me know how this resonated with you as well. And yeah, any other comments you leave. How does this resonate with you as well? Do you feel yourself kind of like rising into more of that leadership role, that influence? How would that feel? How would that feel to be in that place? What would you do? What would you do if 1,000 people were listening, you know? Meditate on that and allow that to bring in more humility right here and now. So awesome. All right, so we'll just take a moment here. I'll read any other comments on screen. Takusa, I pronounce it different every time, says thank you with a heart emoticon. Thank you as well, and honored to be able to help assist and support each other. So thank you. If you want me to send you a picture of that, let me know. I can send that to you. We're going to be wrapping up this broadcast in the next couple minutes. Because I'm going to be getting ready to head out to hockey soon, because that is what I do on Tuesday nights. But thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in and for tuning in. Reading some comments, Mark said, ignite others, don't torch them to ashes, the theme of tonight. Yeah, I know, right? A lot of flame tonight, right? Mark says, both laughter releases endorphins, so they feel good while they think. Absolutely. I love that idea. If you're gonna make people laugh, if you're gonna tell people the truth, make them laugh at the same time, or else they will kill you. That's like a Walt Whitman quote. So kind of gets right to the point though. All right, thank you again, everyone. I'm just gonna like some comments for those of you on YouTube as well. Thank you, and I'm just gonna take a quick look. Thank you, everyone who liked the video on YouTube. Awesome. I'm at 10.6K subscribers on YouTube. So thanks everyone for joining in. Super appreciate it. I'll be doing some more live broadcasts tomorrow. Again, our objective 200 by 2020. That's our objective. Any Patreon supporters, thank you so much. As always, your support is always appreciated. For anybody here, your support is appreciated in any form. If you would like to be able to get either a private reading with me, you can always add your support onto the Patreon as well. And I'll just post a link for that one more time into the comments before we wrap it up. And for anybody here, please feel free to just express your gratitude in the comments. And stay tuned tomorrow for more live broadcasts. And we'll see what message the universe has for us. Mark, thank you again. Jen, thank you again. I'm not sure where Jen went from earlier, but Jen, thank you so much for your support on the Patreon. We had 2 new Patreon signups tonight. And yeah, we'll be doing plenty more broadcasts as we keep going forward. So 6 of Flames, another perfect message for me tonight. Leadership, am certainly working on it. Allison, thank you for sharing. Happy to have you here as well. Again, you know, like a lot of people here, like as you join here, like this is like a powerful place for us as leaders to be able to come together. So if you enjoyed this broadcast and you want to connect further, be sure to check the show notes on YouTube and Facebook for links to the team chat. Also to the new team Instagram page. So I'm just going to post a link for the team Instagram page. Be sure to check that out. And so if anybody here is interested in another reading for the next broadcast that we do, if you sign up on the Patreon, that can get you a position for the next broadcast if you happen to be on air when we're live at that time. Otherwise, it can be a private reading as well. So if everyone here just wants to be able to express their gratitude in the comments, just leave anything that you want to share, not just for myself, but for the team. And then I'm going to end this broadcast and get myself ready to head out the door for hockey in a minute. And thank you again, everyone, so much for being here. Matthew says, very infinitely, abundantly grateful. And thank you, brother. Thank you again. Infinite, abundant, namaste, peace and growth of infinite, abundant opportunities to you, fam. Matthew, thank you. Very, very kind of you. I am going to... There, Matthew, I subscribe to your channel. So I know a few people jumped over from Instagram. If you jumped over from Instagram, send me a message if you're watching this on Instagram to make sure I'm connected with your Instagram profile there. And Takusa, if there's any other comments that you want to express, please feel free to do that. And we're going to close off the stream in about 30 seconds, give or take. And I'm glad I got it working. And thanks everyone again for my patience, for your patience at the beginning when we were figuring it out the stream and had to get things all set up and stuff. So we're currently at 119 Patreon supporters. Again, tomorrow, my goal tomorrow, 10 Patreon signups tomorrow. That's my goal. So we're going to probably start a little bit early and then we're going to go from there. The only thing that's stopping me from just like going all day is the fact that like my voice, like eventually I have to like be like, oh yeah, I have to like rest my voice. So remind me to take breaks every now and then. All right, looks like everyone's all settled. Thank you again, everyone. Awesome. Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. So again, for those of you who are interested, be sure to check out the Patreon. Again, when you sign up to the Patreon, you can also join as a leading member in the community. Leading members in the community get to connect further as a conscious media creator and get to join on-air live broadcasts that we do with our Synergy Circles live on Sundays. You can also get a beautiful Lemurian Light Guardian Crystal when you sign up at the $11 or higher. Again, if anybody here, if you're already signed up for the Patreon and you're just like, yo, I'm like, maybe I'm sitting on like more money than I need and you want to contribute more than what you're currently contributing, absolutely, please feel free. It is all greatly appreciated, and it all again just helps us increase our global impact. So thank you for supporting myself as an entrepreneur and the community and what we're doing. And yeah, also when you sign up on the Patreon, you get discounts for items such as the shift buttons, which are beautiful buttons that have the Paradigm Shift Central website on them, and they are tools to help evoke synchronicity. And we got all sorts of different designs there. Eye of Ra, Yin Yang, Flower of Life, Metatron Cube, all sorts of cool stuff. So if you're signed up on Patreon, you can get discount 25% or more. And yeah, you can also get those normally at questitemshop.com. So be sure to follow me on Instagram. Send me a message if you have any questions. Message me on Facebook if you're tuned into this broadcast and you would like a picture of any of the readings that we did. And be sure to subscribe and tune in again next time. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Takusha copy and pasted from their favorite deck, the Six of Wands, which is the Six of Flames. It says, I'm just going to read what they copy and pasted it. The crisis of the Five of Wands is overcome. The lesson was learned and has turned into a victory. In the middle of the Tree of Life, right in the beauty and harmony of the Typhorith, the flames of the fire appear like pure floating gold. The Six of Wands shows that all the past troubles and disruptions have been necessary to grow and develop, and the victory we have now the victory we have now is more than just a game by lucky chance. We have deserved it. Drive, happiness, victory, glory, pride of riches, light, creative, fulfillment, satisfaction, triumph, success through energy and industry, shadow, vanity, reckless, egoism, insolence. Very cool. So yeah, it's interesting that that's a little bit different, but still relative, talking a lot about like victory and success and leadership and fame. So awesome. All right, thank you again, everyone, so much for tuning into this broadcast. We're gonna wrap it up. I gotta get ready for hockey, but we will be back again with more live tarot readings with Wolf. Be sure to check out the Patreon when you can. You can sign up at any point, and be sure to connect to the team Instagram page and also my personal Instagram page at Mystic Spider-Man. So if you are on Instagram, be sure to follow me there. And until next time, keep going out there, keep shifting those paradigms, keep changing the world. Peace, love, and wholeness. I am greatly, greatly, greatly super appreciative to be able to practice doing this here with you. And until next time, I will see you in the future. Keep it shifty. Much love. Connect to my profile if you're following me on Facebook. Be sure to follow. Subscribe on YouTube. And have a beautiful evening. See you later. Thanks again, everyone. Oh, and thanks for wishing me luck at hockey. All right. I'll be back later. Much love.